It's week number 41 of the coronavirus pandemic here in Los Angeles. First off, I'm actually going to start this video with a little bit of bad news and then good news because I want to finish off with a good feeling instead of all doom and gloom. But first off, I want to start with an astronomical event that occurred on the winter solstice on December 21st on Monday. On Monday, the winter season officially started. But something else happened on that day as well. It happened in the evening time, and you actually had to look in the night sky to see what was going on. It was a very rare planetary phenomenon. So, on the winter solstice on December 21st, you could actually see the Christmas star. However, it wasn't a star. It was a rare planetary meetup. The planets Jupiter and Saturn would come together to an event that was called the Great Conjunction. The two planets haven't appeared this close since the year 1226, and some people are calling it the Christmas star. Why? Because they believe that the Star of Bethlehem might have been a planetary conjunction. Now, if you're familiar with the story of the birth of Jesus in the Bible, you remember that the Star of Bethlehem was a huge bright star in the sky that was being followed by three wise men. These wise men came all the way from the east for an opportunity to see the birth of Christ. And in the legend, it says that these wise men always look towards the star for their guidance, and that was the Christmas star, the Star of Bethlehem. So a lot of scientists believe that maybe during the birth of Jesus, this could have been a planetary conjunction as well. If it's true, God works in mysterious ways. It would be pretty cool. But what is a great conjunction? So I'm going to simplify it to the best of my ability. So in the chart that you're seeing right now, you see a very small scale of the solar system. You see the Sun, Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn. And as you can see, those three planets are aligned very perfectly, like a straight line. And if you're from Earth, you can see Jupiter and Saturn in the night sky. There was actually a person that was taking photos every single day since the start of October 2nd. Now, if you see, Saturn and Jupiter were miles apart in the night sky, but as the days went on, they were getting closer and closer and closer, all the way until December 21st, where you saw kind of like a double planet, like they were basically giving a kiss to each other, close by. But if you had a very good telescope, you could actually see the rings of Saturn, the giant red planet of Jupiter. But if you were me and you did not have that fancy schmancy telescope and you took a picture with my iPhone, you could actually see this. So that big bright white light is the moon, and right next to it, that little dot that you see, that is Saturn and Jupiter. Blame it on light pollution, because here in Los Angeles we have lots of it, but that was the best picture that I can take. But again, it was a pretty cool event that was happening, and especially at this year where you need something to get excited about, especially if people are interested in astronomy. So it's pretty cool. The bad news immediately begins on Christmas Eve, no less. Because on Christmas Eve, the California Department of Public Health announced that California has surpassed 2 million coronavirus cases since the start of this pandemic. It shows how the state of California is right now in a crisis because of this outbreak. That right now we're living in the second wave of this pandemic, and potentially there could be a third wave along the way because of the holiday travel. A lot of people are not obeying the COVID-19 protocols, and they're just ignoring it and risking their livelihood and risking other people's lives in the process. So the Department of Public Health are urging all Californians to please stay home in the holidays, to please remain vigilant, mask up, social distance, make sure you have hand sanitizer, wash your hands for 20 seconds, all of those things, because it's going to be a very bumpy ride already beginning 2021. Regarding the coronavirus, here in the city of Los Angeles, the number of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are still surging throughout Los Angeles County. And right now, the hospitals are in a crisis mode. The reason why I say this is because I have a wife who works in the hospital. Now, she doesn't tell me everything because I understand that she has to stay confidential. But just me seeing it through her eyes, just seeing her eyes, I can tell the stress, the frustration, the fear that she has to go through every single day, putting her life on the line, trying to save other lives in the midst of a pandemic. And also, I have been driving through other hospitals all around my neighborhood, trying to see what is the situation. And when I drive by these hospitals, I see long lines of people trying to go in for treatment. This is some of the information that has been being broadcast in local television of how bad the hospital situations are. So one of the things that they say that it's dangerously low right now in hospitals isn't just capacity, but they are low on oxygen tanks. That now doctors and nurses have to make a difficult decision of rationing oxygen tanks. Now they have to decide who lives and who dies. The next thing is that the other supplies are critically low. We're talking about face masks, face shields, gloves, all these other things that nurses and doctors need in order for them to stay healthy and stay alive. Something else is that it has been reported that patients in ambulances have been waiting as long as 8 hours before entering the emergency room, the ER. And like I said before, I see it from just watching the eyes of my wife, because the eyes don't lie. Eyes tell you the truth. Exhausted, overworked staff. Frustration because people are not listening to the COVID-19 protocols that have been in place by other medical professionals and also the health department. And the frustration that you're seeing the same story of people telling the same story, that they thought that they were invincible, that this was not going to happen to them, and because of that one minor mistake of not wearing a mask, not washing their hands, or going to a get-together crowd of people, they got the coronavirus. And now death is just minutes away from them. And there's fear. What happens if they get sick? What happens if they're the breadwinner? What happens if they're living alone? What happens if they get sick? It's all of those things that right now are in the minds of these medical workers that are fighting so valiantly amidst a pandemic. They're exhausted, they're frustrated, and they're scared. I don't blame them. And right now, we're already starting winter, and we're seeing these record numbers. Los Angeles right now is the epicenter of the pandemic in the state of California. So I give words of encouragement to my wife, saying that everything is going to be okay. If anything, we have to keep faith, because faith is what gives us strength. Faith is what gives us the endurance, and faith is what keeps us together. Because we have to be strong for one another, especially during these tough times. And hopefully that even though these vaccines are available, it's not available to everyone. The medical workers are the ones that are getting first dibs on the vaccine, which I agree, because they're the ones putting their lives on the line. And then the next people that are in line are going to be the elderly, the people that have underlying health conditions, which is normal. So for people who are healthy in a young age like me, I'm all the way in the back of the line. So I have to be cautious, I have to be vigilant, and at the same time I have to give encouragement to my loved ones, especially one that works in the medical field, because it's going to be a very bumpy ride. And hopefully with next year coming in, 2021, I can endure more. because if she can do it with the work she does, I can help her from my end as well. Moving away from all that negativity that is going on in Los Angeles because of COVID-19 and now moving to something more positive and uplifting. My personal story of Christmas in the year 2020. So a little bit of background. Both of my parents are from Nicaragua, and they immigrated here to the United States. And when they raised a family, both my older sister and myself, they shared a lot of their Nicaraguan traditions with us. So the way we celebrate Christmas is a fusion of Nicaraguan and American values. So it all began on Christmas Eve. When I woke up, I started with a very small breakfast with all of my family members. And once we finished, I began to help my mom in the kitchen because she is the real chef in the family. And the way we do our Christmas feast is that we eat it on Christmas Eve. And the way we do it is half of the sides are Nicaraguan dishes and the other half is American. So we have to cook the Nicaraguan dishes first because they take the longest. So we have to do rice, refried beans that have been blended and refried again with chilies and other spices, and then tostones, which are refried plantains. So that takes a while. We finish, and then all of us takes a break. We immediately change to our Christmas sweaters to be casual. And then around the late afternoon, I start to do the other half of the Christmas feast, which is the American side. We do garlic bread, mashed potatoes, and the main course, which is turkey. But not just any turkey, it's the Honey Baked Ham Company turkey, which is a honey glazed turkey, and it is amazing. So the way we do it is I usually am in charge of the honey baked turkey. So what I do is I marinate it with honey. I marinate it again every 30 minutes. So I put it in the oven for 175 degrees for about an hour and a half. I don't want to cook it too well, but it has to be nice and moist, and it is. So once that is done and close to being finished, my wife comes from a long day at work because she had a 12-hour shift in the hospital. So she's tired, she's stressed because of the situation, but the minute she opens that door and she smells the food, she sees the pretty lights, the Christmas tree, the decorations, the people just warm and hugging. It's something that just brightened her day, and she loved it. So once everyone was ready, we went to the table, which was nicely decorated, and we all gave thanks to God for being alive, that we're healthy, and that we're all together. Because that gives us the moment to just put our troubles and all the problems in the world aside, just for that moment, to have that moment of family, of love and warmth, and that we all promised ourselves that we have to continue our faith, the faith that things will get better, that we're going to stay healthy, that we're going to survive, and we're going to endure, and we're going to move on no matter what. Because that's the most important thing about Christmas, is about family, friends, and memories. And gifts are very nice, but it's better to actually give a gift than receive it, because it's the gift of giving, not just receiving. So even though Christmas was very different this year, it didn't take away the magic that it holds. And the magic is that everyone just had a good time throughout the entire day, because all we talked about from Christmas Eve all the way to Christmas Day, when we woke up later that day, is just the amazing memories that we had, the delicious food, and just saying, yeah, you know what? Christmas is more than just the presents. It doesn't take away anything just because it's been a very difficult year because of COVID. Christmas is the reason why we're all together, we're all smiling, and we're all having a good time. So hopefully everyone had a very Merry Christmas with your family and your loved ones. Even if you're not together, you could have done it virtually. But I was blessed that I still have my family with me and in person as well. So that is it for today's video. And again, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Kwanzaa as well. and also happy holidays, because 2020 is about to end in a couple of days, and can't wait to look forward to 2021. So everyone, stay strong, stay safe.